Greetings, brothers. There comes a moment when even the greatest fire burns low when the hammer stills, and the forge grows quiet. On that day, we do not grieve, we wait. For silence is never death to the Salamanders. It is the breath between heartbeats, the pause before the hammer strikes again. So it was with our father, Vulkan, when he vanished into the night of the galaxy. When the flames of his presence were no longer felt upon Nocturne, the chapter did not cry out in despair. We listened, for we knew that the silence of the forge does not mean the flame has died, only that it burns unseen in deeper places. In that silence, we found whispers, tales of his final gift, a relic, perhaps, a weapon, perhaps not, a truth carried in flame. It is said that the Father's last act was not wrought of metal, but of mercy, that he left us a gift not to conquer, but to endure. And so the story begins not in the roar of battle, but in the dim glow of a forge left cooling. For all who seek Vulkan's final gift must first learn to hear what the fire says when it no longer speaks. In the twilight years of the Great Crusade, the galaxy burned with triumph and sorrow alike. Vulkan, ever the humble smith among giants, carried both upon his shoulders. He had seen worlds remade and brothers lost. He had tempered humanity's hope upon the anvil of endless war. And when treachery tore the heavens asunder, when brother slew brother beneath the eyes of gods, he walked a path no map could follow. Legends differ in detail. Some say he returned to Nocturne after the fires of Istvan, his spirit heavy with grief. Others whisper that he wandered the void, searching for meaning beyond victory and vengeance alike. But all tales agree on this. Wherever he went, he forged one final thing. Not for war, not for glory, but for us. Some claim it was the Talisman of Flame, a device capable of reigniting the dying suns of mankind. Others believe it was a seed, a fragment of his own gene essence, meant to awaken when the Salamanders were most in need. And there are those, like myself, who believe the gift was neither weapon nor relic, but truth itself. For in every legend, Vulkan is not found grasping his creation. He is found giving it away. Perhaps that is the true secret. The gift was never his to keep. It was a lesson left to echo through ages, that the greatest act of strength is to let go, to trust that those you forged will carry your flame forward. Among the sons of Nocturne, we speak often of the 9 relics of Vulkan. We name them as sacred: the Spear of Flame, the Gauntlet of the Forge, the Obsidian Plate, and others whose power once turned the tides of war. But in the secret halls, whispered beneath the roar of the forges, there is talk of a 10th, the hidden, the unseen. We call it the final gift, the first 9 we can touch, the 10th we can only feel. When I was a neophyte, I asked my chaplain what it meant. He looked upon me with eyes the color of cooling embers and said, "The 10th relic cannot be found, brother. It must be forged within you." I did not understand then. I thought he spoke in riddle, as old warriors often do. But decades later, after the sieges, after the loss of comrades whose names are now ash in the wind, I understood. The final gift is not a thing. It is a becoming. Each time, a salamander chooses compassion over cruelty. Each time he lifts the fallen instead of stepping over them. Each time he endures when all else fails, the Father's hand is upon him. That, brothers, is Vulkan's last forge. Not metal, not fire, but the human heart made divine through endurance. Still, the stories persist, for the Salamanders are keepers of legend as much as warriors. Some say the final gift lies hidden in the heart of Mount Deathfire itself. Others claim it drifts among the stars, sealed within a capsule that will return only when the galaxy's last forge grows cold. There are those who swear they have seen visions, a figure of light standing in the flames, whispering a single word, endure. When such tales reach my ears, I do not dismiss them. For faith is a forge, and each mind is its anvil. The truth may lie somewhere between legend and longing. We have searched, oh how we have searched. Centuries of quests, pilgrimages, wars waged in the Father's name. Yet every time we draw near, the flame fades, and the hand we seek turns to shadow. Perhaps that too is part of the gift that we must always seek, never possess. A flame captured dies. A flame shared endures. So we hunt the final gift, not to claim it, but to remember what we are. Seekers of light in an age of darkness. And if the Father still lives, if his hand still shapes the fire unseen, then every step we take upon this endless path is part of his will. It is easy to crave the gift, harder to bear it. Every fire gives light, but every light casts shadow. Vulkan's final gift was never meant to comfort us. It was meant to remind us that creation and loss are one motion of the same hand. The Father's forge was not only for weapons and wonders, it was for men. He tempered us as he tempered steel, heating us in love, striking us in trial, cooling us in mercy. But to be tempered is to be changed, and change demands surrender. When Vulkan left us, the Salamanders felt the weight of the galaxy shift upon their shoulders. No longer could we look to his voice, his guidance, his endless strength. We had to become the strength ourselves. That was the burden hidden within the gift. That the fire he gave would not live in his hands, but in ours. There are nights, even now, when I feel it heavy within me. The memory of a touch I never knew. The warmth of a presence that is gone. It burns, not with pain, but with duty. Every time I lift the hammer, I feel that duty whisper, do not fail the flame. That whisper is Vulkan's last breath made eternal. That whisper is the gift. On Nocturne, the people keep small forges in their homes. They light them at dusk and let them burn until dawn. The smoke rises into the night sky, each trail a prayer, each spark a name. When I was young, I watched those lights from the monastery walls and wondered if the Father could see them from wherever he had gone. Now I know that he can, for every light that burns in the dark is a part of him. We keep our own forges deep in the chapter's halls. Each is tended by a brother who once fell and rose again. When a salamander dies, his ashes are placed upon the anvil, and a fragment of his armor is melted into the next weapon forged. Thus, the fire of one life becomes the strength of another. Perhaps that too is the final gift, that the Father taught us how to make meaning from loss, to take sorrow and hammer it into purpose, to turn every death into something that endures. I have forged blades from the remains of brothers. I have held weapons that sang with their memory, and when the strike fell true, I swear I felt their hands guiding mine. That is the way of the Salamanders. The dead are not gone, they are the heat within the metal, the strength behind the blow. There are nights when the forge fire burns too bright to rest. In that glow, dreams come, not visions of prophecy, but of remembrance. I see Vulkan standing before the anvil. He does not speak, he simply shapes. The hammer rises and falls, and each strike sends ripples through the dark. From the metal's heart pours light, and within that light, I see the faces of my brothers. When I wake, the forge is cold again, yet the memory remains. I understand now what the dream means. The Father is still forging us. The anvil is time itself. The hammer is our endurance. Every battle, every act of mercy, every scar, these are his strikes, shaping us still. The dream is not comfort. It is command. To be Salamander is to be an unfinished work, the eternal project of Vulkan's will. When the day comes that he returns, he will find us still at the forge, still shaping, still enduring. And he will know his gift was not in vain. Every century, a few among us take the long march. We leave the fortress monastery, walk across the burning plains of Nocturne, and climb the volcanic slopes barefoot. The ground cuts. The heat sears. The air itself tries to drive a man to his knees. But we walk. We call these wanderers the Pilgrims of Ash. They carry no weapon save a hammer, no armor save the scarred skin the Father gave them. At the peak, they kneel before the open vents of Mount Deathfire and whisper their names into the smoke. Some return after a day, some after a season, some never return at all. The Forge priests tell us that those who vanish are not lost. They are taken into the mountain, where the world's heart beats in molten rhythm with Vulkan's own. The Promethean flame welcomes them home, and their spirits become sparks that guide the next generation through the darkness. Each pilgrim seeks the same thing, not a relic of metal, but the moment of understanding when the pain and the purpose become one. In that instant, the gift of the Father blooms inside them like a living ember. They descend changed, speaking softly, eyes bright with the light of knowing. That is why we still send them, for every brother who makes that journey reminds us that the fire is not found in the forge, it is found in the will to walk through it. The galaxy is vast and cruel. Worlds fall, empires rot, and even stars can die. Yet in every corner where the Salamanders have stood, there burns a small, defiant light. We are told that we are too few, too slow, too human to matter. Perhaps, but we were never made to be conquerors. We were made to be guardians. Vulkan's final gift was not meant to win wars. It was meant to keep the fire of mercy alive when all else fails. Where other legions turned to hatred, we turned to the Forge. Where others sought domination, we sought protection. Every life saved, every child shielded, every shelter rebuilt. After the bombardment, these are the sparks of the Father's last forge. That is what he left us. Not invincible armor or unbreakable blades, but the conviction that to protect is the highest form of strength. The gift is the light that will not die, even when the stars go dark. And when the last forge cools, when the last salamander falls, I believe that light will rise again from the ashes, from the memory of what we chose to be, and the Father will know his sons remain true. Brothers, our Father's hammer is silent, but his work continues in us. The fire he kindled is no longer bound to one world, one forge, one man. It lives wherever courage is tempered by compassion. When you next stand at the anvil, when you next raise your weapon in defense of the helpless, remember this: you are the final gift, your endurance, your mercy, your flame. The galaxy may never understand what we are, but the fire does. It remembers, it watches, and it will greet us when our work is done. Until that hour, keep the forge burning. Speak the Father's name in the sound of your hammer. Carry his light into every shadow you cross. We will meet again, brothers, when the fires of Nocturne rise to greet the dawn of a new age. Until that day, endure.